Venerable Simeon the Myrrh-gusher. February 13th. A powerful Serbian ruler abdicates his throne to embrace monasticism, eventually becoming a saint whose relics bring peace and healing to his nation. Venerable Simeon the Myrrh-gusher, known in his earthly life as Stefan Nemanja, was born around the year 1114. His life unfolded in a time of significant change for the Serbian lands. From an early age, he was prepared for leadership, a role he would assume with dedication and a deep commitment to the Orthodox Christian faith. Stefan Nemanja ascended to the position of Grand Župan of Serbia around 1166. His reign marked a pivotal era for the Serbian people. He undertook the demanding work of uniting the various Serbian principalities, which had long been fragmented. Through strategic leadership and military skill, he consolidated territories, establishing a stronger and more cohesive state. His rule was not solely focused on political expansion. He also dedicated himself to the spiritual well-being of his people. He was a fervent defender of Orthodox Christianity, actively working to counter the influence of the Bogomil heresy, which had gained a foothold in some regions. He understood that the spiritual unity of his people was as vital as their political cohesion. During his time as ruler, he founded many churches and monasteries, demonstrating his piety and his desire to provide places of worship and spiritual refuge for the faithful. After a long and impactful reign, Stefan Nemanja made a profound decision at the age of 80. In 1196, at an assembly in Rasa, he voluntarily abdicated his throne. This act was not a retreat from responsibility, but an embrace of a different form of service. He passed the leadership to his middle son, Stefan, who would later be known as Stefan the First Crowned. Following this abdication, Stefan Nemanja retired to the Studenica monastery, a holy dwelling he himself had founded. There, he received the monastic tonsure, taking the name Simeon. His wife, Anna, had already embraced the monastic life, receiving the name Anastasia. This shared commitment to monasticism underscored their devotion to Christ and their desire for a life dedicated to prayer and asceticism. The monastic calling led Simeon to seek an even stricter path of asceticism. In 1197, he departed from Mount Athos, the holy mountain, to join his youngest son, Rastko. Rastko had also embraced monasticism earlier, taking the name Sava. The reunion of father and son on Mount Athos was a moment of deep spiritual significance. Together, Saint Simeon and Saint Sava dedicated themselves to the restoration of the Hilandar monastery. This monastery, which had fallen into disrepair, was transformed by their efforts into a vibrant spiritual center for Serbian monks. They lived a life of prayer, manual labor, and humility, providing an example for all who sought to follow Christ in monasticism. Their days were spent in worship, fasting, and service, building up not only the physical structures of the monastery, but also its spiritual foundation. Saint Simeon reposed peacefully in the Lord on February 13, 1199. He departed from this earthly life while in the arms of his son, Saint Sava. His burial took place at the Hilandar monastery, where he had dedicated his final years to God. Following his repose, a miraculous event occurred. A fragrant, healing myrrh began to flow from his tomb. This outpouring of myrrh signified his sainthood and earned him the title Myrrh-gusher, or myrrh streamer. The myrrh was a source of comfort and healing for those who approached his tomb with faith. Several years after his death, Saint Sava, guided by a divine vision, undertook the translation of his father's holy relics. In 1208, the incorrupt relics of Saint Simeon were brought from Mount Athos to Serbia. This act held profound spiritual and national significance. At that time, Simeon's two elder sons, Vukan and Stefan, were engaged in a conflict over the throne. The presence of their father's holy relics served as an instrument of reconciliation. Through the intercession of Saint Simeon, peace was restored between the warring brothers, and unity returned to the Serbian lands. The relics were enshrined at the Studenica monastery, the very place where he had taken his monastic vows. From that time forward, the Studenica monastery, housing the relics of Saint Simeon the Myrrh-gusher, became a source of spiritual comfort, healing, and blessing for the Serbian people, continuing his legacy of unity and devotion to Christ. His life stands as a testament to the transformation possible through faith, from a powerful earthly ruler to a humble servant of God, whose spiritual legacy continued to bless his nation.